Hey guys, Jake the Sports here, coming at you live with the Jake the Sports Top 25. I've tried in years past to do this audio recorded and then put like a graphic over it. But, it's just so much easier to make the videos like this that I thought I'd just kind of do it like this without even, I have my notes down there if you can see them. And we're just going to roll through my poll. Better than the AP poll, obviously. The AP poll that came out today was a joke. And I don't really care because it's week 2 and nothing matters. It's going to eventually be sorted out. And the AP poll doesn't even freaking matter. It's the college football playoff poll. Neither of them are good. Neither of the people who run them are good. But that's just how college football works. So we're going to run through my poll, a poll that you'll probably actually care about. So I think we're going to go from 1 to 25, and then I'll give you 3 teams like the others receiving votes or teams that just missed. So number 1 in the country, I have Georgia. Listen, Alabama's great, and they're right there at 2, I believe, right? Yeah, obviously. But Georgia went out and beat, in my opinion, still a top 25 Oregon team, and they dominated them. It wasn't even close. I mean, they ran them off the damn field. So, I mean, there's really nothing to say. Georgia, I mean, in my opinion, Georgia's the favorite to win it. They look so good. They have not skipped a beat from last year. And Alabama, it's not going to be Alabama running away with it, as many people think. Georgia's a very good team, and until they lose a game or look unconvincing, they're going to stay at number 1. Because, listen, people are putting Alabama at number 1, but, I mean, and they beat up on Utah State, and that's all you can do. But, I mean, Georgia put up about the same amount of points and gave up about the same amount of points against a team that was ranked 11th in the country. So, it's just a wee bit more impressive than beating Utah State, but don't worry, Alabama fan. I'm sure your time will come, or not. We'll have to see. But, 1 and 2, Georgia, Alabama. At 3rd, I have Ohio State. They beat a great Notre Dame team at home. They won by 11, but, I mean, they played well. The defense looks really good. And, I mean, teams 4 through 25, if they played Ohio State, I don't think they would beat them right now. That's just facts. So, I mean, it's pretty simple why I have Ohio State at 3. They didn't drop. I didn't make a week 1 poll, but I had Ohio State at 3rd last time anyway, so they didn't drop for me or anything. All right, now, oh boy. This is where people are going to get really mad at Jake Does Sports. He's going to call him a homer because we got the Irish at number 4. Now, hold your horses. Lay those hands off the keyboards. Let me explain. It's, in my opinion, it's Alabama and Georgia. I think there's a gap. I think there's Ohio State, and then I think there's a gap. And then I think that's where everyone else is. That's what I think it is. In terms of where teams are, just status-wise. And Notre Dame played Ohio State close. They were leading late in the 3rd quarter. The game never got out of hand, and they played an Ohio State team that is 3rd in the country on the road. I don't think Michigan, I don't think Oklahoma, I don't think Baylor, I don't think Miami, I don't think Texas A&M. None of those teams could do that. And that's really the main reason why I have Notre Dame at 4 in my poll. They dropped down all the way to 8th. I think that's ridiculous, but it doesn't matter. We're going to move up in the poll as long as we can beat Marshall. That's going to be a sweater. But yeah, that's my explanation for that. I mean, yeah, they lost, but it was close on the road to one of the best teams in the country. They were leading late in that game. Our defense is absolutely amazing. I think that's the lowest amount of points anyone's going to give up against Ohio State all year, in my opinion. Again, we don't have much to base it off, so these are bold statements, but this is just what I think. So Notre Dame at 4, get mad at me, type in the comments that I'm an idiot and that I know nothing about college football. That's literally, this is my, as honest as I can be, though. Notre Dame, to me, looks like the fourth best team in the country. That's just what it is. And if we lose again, we're going to drop big time. Because that's not what the fourth best team in the country does. But that's why I have Notre Dame at number 4. All right. I mean, really, these teams are hard to rank, if I'm being honest. It's really tough because it's so clear that either Alabama or Georgia is going to win the national championship this year. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just true. Number 5, we got USC. Listen, I know they played food the other week. They played rice, but, I mean, they did the best they could. I mean, they won 66-14. Caleb Williams and the Lincoln Riley offense is absolutely smashing the competition so far. Obviously, I want to see them play something not food and maybe not play a JUCO school, but once they do that and prove themselves, I think I can really trust them. But it's honestly that I don't know who else to put there. I know USC at 5 seems high, but their offense looks really good. Their defense looks pretty solid, and I think this is just going to be another Lincoln Riley team that's going to be hovering around the 6-5-4 spot. So that's why I have USC there. But don't worry, Notre Dame will clean you up at the end of the year. That's fine. You won't be there forever. Number 6, I got Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I mean, they beat UTEP kind of convincingly. I mean, yeah, the score was good, but they were struggling in that second quarter. I mean, there's nothing really to say. I think Brett Venables, I think he's a good head coach. I honestly do. I think he's the right fit for Oklahoma. They made the right move. We'll see how it turns out. Again, it's really hard to tell where teams are, but I mean, the only reason I had Oklahoma behind USC was just because I don't think Oklahoma's offense is as good with the Lincoln Riley gone, with Caleb Williams gone. So start crying, Oklahoma fan. I'm just kidding, though. I think you guys got a good ball team, but I mean, it's week 2. Like, I can't really base much off a game against UTEP. That's why you're at number 6. Number 7, I got Michigan. Michigan, they beat Colorado State. Again, these kind of five, almost all the way down to like 20 or so. They just beat up on putrid teams. So there's not a lot I can say. Michigan, I have you at 7. I think your defense is great. I think your offense and running game is very solid. I think your O-line is good. You need to get the quarterback situation figured out. Whoever you have, number 12, I forgot his name. Is it McNamara? Is that his name? He's not good. You need to figure that out. I think Harbaugh was gonna have him play week 1 and then the other guy play week 2. If the other guy's good week 2, you need to roll with him the rest of the way. Because if you think you're making another playoff, you're not if you have McNamara under center every play. And that's just facts. Let's see here. Number 8, who do we got? A&M. Dude, I'm going to be honest. I don't even know who they played. Like, did they play anyone? They're good. Yeah. I mean, the test is really going to be, is that week 2 or 3 that you play Miami? That's going to be a good game. I'm not going to tell you where I have Miami right now, or actually, no. Wait. Oh, no. I got Miami in my top 10. Or at least they're close to it, yeah. Miami's a good team. But this is Texas A&M I'm talking about. I keep rambling. I think Texas A&M, their offense is decent. Again, they have a sketchy quarterback. I really don't know with him. I think the defense is very solid. Jimbo Fisher, he's recruiting well. You're going to have talented players. He needs to coach them up, though. It's time to coach for this Texas A&M team. And this is a season where you need to make a New Year's Six Bowl. This team needs to make at least a New Year's Six Bowl. I know a lot of these people want to make playoffs. You go 8-4 every year. I want to see you actually make a decent bowl game and maybe win one, unlike Notre Dame. So yeah, A&M, I mean, they played a nobody week 1. I believe so. I'm going to sound very stupid if that's not the case, but I have you at number 8. Number 9. This is where people are going to get mad again. I got Clemson. And that is very generous. Oh my goodness, we didn't talk about this game last night. Whoa, Clemson. Who was the guy who was telling you all offseason that your offense was going to be putrid? Oh, that's me. That's actually me. Unlike a lot of people in this nation of the US of A, I was one of the people who said Clemson's offense is going to be terrible. They're not going to repeat and go to the playoffs. They're just not. And look at what they put out on the field. You could barely beat Georgia Tech. I know the score. I know you guys won 41-10. But let's be real here. That game was close into the fourth quarter. I mean, listen, the AP poll barely discredited you, and it's because they're the AP poll. They love Clemson. Unlike Dabo hates to say, Dabo thinks the AP poll hates him. They love him. They absolutely love him. So I don't know what I don't know, like these delusional Clemson fans that think they're actually going to make the playoffs. It's just not true. It's just not true. I mean, there are only 4 teams. There are only 3 teams capable of making the playoff right now. Ohio State, Georgia, and Bama. Notre Dame's a little behind that, but they haven't even won a game yet, so we can't really say anything. Clemson is not capable. Listen, I'll give you credit for your D-line. The D-line is amazing. Your secondary, it's solid. I mean, it's not like anything to write home about, but it's solid. But then you get to the offense, and it's horrible. I mean, you better hope your backup is at least decent, because you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win 9 games. How? Tell me how you're winning 9 games with that offense. Georgia Tech is one of the worst teams in the nation. And you guys almost threw it away. It makes no sense. No sense. I don't want to talk about this team anymore. Number 10, Miami. I hate the U. They're one of my least favorite teams. Honestly, I hate them so much. But we don't play every year. I don't really have a rival. I mean, if USC starts to get good, maybe I'll start hating them. Miami, honestly, they looked really good. I like Tyler Van Dyke. I think he's a great quarterback. The offense looks amazing. They won like 70-13 over Bethune-Cookman. You won over the Cookies. I'm going to need to see you guys play an actual game before I really start talking good about you. But, you were the 10th most impressive team in my opinion this week. I think you guys are the 10th best team in the country right now. We'll see if stuff changes. Only reason I had you behind Clemson is because Clemson's actually won an ACC championship. Let's see here. Baylor, number 11. I don't know who Baylor played. I think they were impressive. I mean, Baylor's a team that's always hovering around 10-11. We'll see if they start losing a few games, then maybe, they're going to drop. But for right now, Baylor did very well last year. I don't think they lost a lot, and they're 1-0, so, I got to put them around where they were last year, in my opinion. Let's see, number 12, Michigan State. Sparty, the start of that game was a little sketchy. In the second quarter, things were a little sketchy. Western Michigan was playing you close, but you closed it out, got home with a win. And, yeah, I think Michigan State, I think their defense is great. The offense needs a little more improvement. I know you put up a bunch of points, but it's Western Michigan. And like I said, this is another team that played a nobody. We'll see once Big Ten play starts for you how you fare against the Purdues of the world, the Iowas of the world if you play them. We'll see. Number 13, Arkansas. Arky, good old Arky. Arky played Cincinnati. That was a good game. Cincinnati, I think they're going to end in the top 25. I know they lost so much, but I still think Luke Fickell's an amazing head coach, and I think he's going to coach that team up to at least 9 or 10 wins. They're still a good team. That's not a bad win in my opinion. You still won by 7. Notre Dame couldn't beat them last year, but again, I think this team is worse than last year for Cincinnati, but I think they're still solid. I think they're still a solid ball team. And I think Arkansas got a good win there. A win they did need because conference play is going to start up. And I think Arkansas is a really solid team. What do I have them at? 13. I think they're a solid team. But they're not going to win all those games. So they should get as many wins now as they can. But their non-con schedule is still tough. I forgot another team who they're playing. They're playing another good team that I forgot. I forgot who it was, but their non-con schedule is tough, so they need to get as many wins as they possibly can. All right, Tennessee, number 14. Tennessee offense is amazing. It's electric. When it's on, it's on. When it's off, it's off. And that's what's going to be the downfall of Tennessee this year if they, spiral out of control. The offense is amazing, and they can go down and score drives like this. They do not care about the clock. They just go, go, go. And that's going to help them late in games. That absolutely will, because they're going to be used to going at that speed. I think, I really do. I mean, it's going to be I think you guys have a good team. I think you're solid. The defense, I think, is also solid. But if Tennessee starts going 3 and out, you're putting your defense back on the field every single time, and that's a problem. But like I said, the defense and offense, I think, are solid, and I think Tennessee is a good team. All right, next up, we got Penn State. I think Penn State got a pretty solid win against Purdue. Purdue's a team that upsets a lot of Big Ten schools, a lot of them, and Purdue had their best record last year. I know I'm basing a lot of stuff off last year. We don't have much to base off now. But I think Penn State got a good win on the road, one they needed, and Purdue kind of handed that game to them. I think you could see Purdue back in the top 25. I think these are going to be both top 25 teams at the end of the year. So I think it's a good win for Penn State. They weren't ranked in the AP poll, I don't believe. But I think you're the 15th best team in the country, in my opinion. Number 16, Whiskey. You blew out a bad team. I think you're hovering around that area as well with Penn State. I don't know if you guys play each other, but that could be a huge game for Wisconsin. I mean, they're going to have a bunch of big games. Maybe not, because they're in the Big Ten West. We'll see, though. Whiskey, they usually get around 10, 11 wins. We'll see if they can do that again and replicate it. Unlike last year, they did not do that. So we'll see if Whiskey can keep it up. Kentucky, number 17, beat a bad team. I mean, it's every single one, basically. Beat a bad team. So nothing really to say with Kentucky. I think they need a more dynamic offense if they're going to want to get further in the SEC and further up this poll. But they got a big game against Florida, I believe. Is that next week? Is that week 2? That'll be very telling. That'll be very telling to where Kentucky is as a program right now and how their team's looking. Wake Forest 18. The offense is still great. I mean, let's just be real here. Wake Forest still has a very dangerous offense. That is a very dangerous game for Clemson if they do play them. I don't know how the divisions are in the ACC, really. That's a dangerous game, though. You need to watch out for that one. I think Wake Forest is just as dangerous as they were last year, because their offense was great and their defense was non-existent. It's pretty much the same thing this year, so I think 18 is around the right place for them. Oklahoma State 19. It's Oklahoma State. I mean, they're 19. Cry about it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Ole Miss 20. Ole Miss, I mean, I don't think their win was all that impressive. I would have had them higher if I think they only won by 18 or so. 28-10. The offense looked sputtery. It was not great. I need to see that Lane Kiffin offense kick in more if they're going to want to move up this poll. That's just how it is. Let's see here. I'm sure no one's watching the video at this point. If you are, congrats to you. 21 Cincinnati. They lost by 7 to Arkansas. Arkansas is the 13th best team in the country. I think it's only right that we have Cincinnati around the 2021 spot. I think they're going to move up over time. I don't see them losing a game for a while. That's my opinion. If they do, they'll drop out. 22 Oregon. I think Oregon's a solid team. I think Bo Nix is a quarterback, but I think the defense for Oregon is really good. Georgia's just that good. They absolutely road graded you in every aspect of the game. So Oregon's 22. They might drop out, honestly. Oregon loses some head-scratching games. If they lose again, they'll probably drop again. But I think Oregon, I really do believe right now they're a top 25 team, but they got killed by Georgia. They're going to need to step it up next week. BYU 1-0. I believe they beat USF. The terrible USF. They're not good anymore. 50-21. I would have moved them up higher. The defense is a little concerning. I don't know how you give up 3 touchdowns to that. Maybe they put in their trash can players at the end of the game. I don't know. BYU, congratulations, 23. Florida, 24, and Utah, 25. That rounds out the top 25. Florida, really, I'm not sold. I'm honestly not sold if they're a top 25 team, but I kind of had to put them above Utah because I think Utah's still a top 25 team. But I think Florida's got a better record right now, and they have the head-to-head. So I think that Florida should be ahead of them. That's really the only reason. We'll see if Anthony Richardson can keep up the production he had last week. It's going to be tough to tell, but we'll see. And then Utah. A terrible loss against Florida. That was detrimental to the Pac-12. Utah was supposed to be the team in the Pac-12 this year, and they blew it week 1. That is a bad loss. I'm not even trolling. That's just a bad loss. So congratulations to Utah. My next 3 out, I have Texas. I think Texas is a very solid team, but I'm not going to say they're back yet. Hold on, hold the phone. I'm not going to say they're back yet. And that thing started against Notre Dame when they beat a 4-8 Notre Dame team, and it took them 4 overtimes. That and the Sugar Bowl win over Georgia has been all they've had to celebrate over the past 4 or 5 years. Congratulations on beating Notre Dame, the worst Notre Dame team in about 10 years. Congratulations. It only took you 4 overtimes. I think Texas, Arch Manning, I think he's, what's his name? Quinn Ewers, or whatever his name is. I don't know why I thought of Arch Manning there. He's solid. Yeah, I think Quinn Ewers, he's solid. I think he's decent. We'll see. He's going to have to play some actual tough competition, but you guys blew out of nobody. Houston. I was going to have Houston high up in this poll, but they barely beat UTSA. I can't speak anymore. They barely beat them, and it was not an impressive win. They're going to need to really blow some group of 5 teams out now if they want any shot at going far this year. And then the final team, I got FSU. Listen, as much as I clown on LSU and Brian Kelly, they're a decent team. I think Florida State's okay. Florida State's off to a great start. We'll see where it takes them. I'm not going to put them in the top 25 yet, but I think they are a solid team. If they start losing some ball games, they're not going to even touch that. So, that's about it for the top 25. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know in the comments. I think this is a lot better of a format. Sorry the video is so long, but I tried to condense it as much as possible. Anyways, I will see you guys later. Probably next video come out will either be a Bills reaction to the Rams game, if the game's crazy or something. I don't usually do NFL content during the season unless the games were absolutely nuts. And your usual college football content will be coming out probably on Friday. If I have any stuff to preview and predict, we'll see. As always, go Irish, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.